Well, hello boys and girls, my name is Anders and welcome to SaxWorks. I would like to show you one of the projects I've been working on since my last videos, which I know is a long time ago, but I have been kind of busy doing other stuff. So this gorgeous horn is an original SML gold medal from 1961. It's a tenor saxophone, as you can see. But it is no longer just an SML. It's been rebuilt and custom modified, and I have done about 65% of all the keywork has been handmade from scratch to make this a completely customized, well-playing monster of a horn. And how I did it, this video is all about that. It's time to take you on a little trip on all the upgrades that has been made to this beautiful horn. I would like to start with the silver plating, because the silver plating on this horn is not just a standard silver plating, it's really something else and something very special. I've been using the same plater for about 18 years now, and he did the very first horn I ever rebuilt. He gold plated the keywork, and I'll show you a picture. And this horn is not just a silver plate, it's actually a very thin gold plate and silver plating on top of that. And for those of you who have tried playing a silver plated horn, you will recognize that the silver plating gives a very crisp, very high note, very high pitch tone, and some of the dynamic range in the width kind of disappears into a very narrow feel of the tone. The center of the tone is good, but not the tonal range. It's kind of, or the overtone series is kind of limited too. But if you apply a thin layer of gold plate before you silver plate it, then something really wonderful happens. And yeah, you know, that's why we play vintage horns. It's a very special kind of brass. You can't get it today, that's why they sound so wonderful, these vintage horns. But if you have a little knowledge of metallurgy, then actually you can do stuff like this, add a little something, spice it up, and you get a sound that is even more flexible and even more wonderfully sounding. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the only SML gold medal that has a high F-sharp tone hole. It didn't come with that, I had to make it. And I must warn you, don't go drilling holes in cones if you don't know exactly where to place the tone hole. This is a very exact science. You have to know exactly how to calculate where a certain tone hole needs to be placed, and if you don't know how to do that, don't go drilling holes. This one plays perfectly in tune, so I wanted to make it to look exactly like the rest of the horn, and the rest of the horn has rolled tone holes, as you can see. So naturally I had to make a rolled tone hole, F sharp, high F sharp, and place it exactly where it needed to be. And this is it. I had to do a lot of testing, and a lot of stuff went wrong. I actually have a stack of used, not good roll tone holes that I can show you that I did previous to this one that actually went on the horn, because it is not simple to do that. But I finally figured out how to do it, and it turned out really, really nice, I think. And I don't think, if I hadn't told you that I made this tone hole, you would just have suspected that the sax was born with this. First of all, you need a post. I placed and made that as well. And you need this very long rod and this mechanical stuff going down here, you can see. And it needs to go into the touch key where you actually activate the high F sharp. All of this, of course, is handmade. I use Delrin rollers as a joint between the axis, the rod of the high F sharp, and the actual mechanical part where you have your key touch. And the Delrin rollers gives much less resistance when you touch it, a much smoother feel to the key. As you can see, it actually rolls when I do like this, so the joint doesn't build up resistance. A nice little trick. When I do a custom built saxophone, I pay a lot of attention to the neck, because the neck is the enhancer of the tone, and it's very important that the neck plays well and sounds well. If you have a neck that doesn't sound right, you're not gonna get a good tone in your saxophone. So I normally just take the neck completely apart, every single thing off the neck, and then I do a little magic, and that's a secret trick I'm not gonna tell you, sorry, because it's one of my trade secrets. But the neck is very important. So when you have a neck, you can actually get a very good idea of what the saxophone is gonna sound like if you blow into the neck, like this. Close it with your palm here so no air gets out. Close it on the octave. And the kind of tone you get, the overtones, you can sense the overtones, you can sense the dynamic range of the tone. All of the things you're gonna find in the saxophone, you're gonna find it in the neck. The key pearls is made in a very special acrylically enhanced Danish hardwood. It has a wonderful feel to it. It looks fantastic. The brown wood against the silver plating, I just love it. And it's acrylically enhanced, meaning it acts like a plastic material. So when you're playing it and your sweaty fingers are touching the pearls, it's not going to deteriorate over time. Right hand palm keys, they have been completely repositioned, because for those of you who know the old SML design, the right hand key touches, your C, your B, your A, your G, it just feels quite natural. But when you have to reach for the G sharp, you have to kind of go down and in on the horn to get the touches, because they are placed in here and not out here like you have on a modern horn. And that actually does make a difference to when you kind of stretch your hand down, you get another playing position for your palm keys as well. So I actually shortened them 2 centimeters, and that's a lot. It's this much. Every one has been shortened and repositioned, so it feels just perfectly natural to touch them. You don't have to move your hand too much. You don't have to lift your hand. You just have to push, and everything just feels very natural. What I like about a custom built saxophone is that you don't flap your hands. I'm sorry, Maceo Parker, I know you're a big fan of hand flapping, but I'm not. And I like to play very tight, very close, and have a good feel of the saxophone. I know a lot of players do like Flappy Bird, but if you have a custom built saxophone, you don't need to move your hand around a lot. Everything is exactly where it's supposed to be. See, when I play the G sharp, I don't move my hand at all, I just move my pinky. So this is one of the advantages of having a custom made saxophone. Everything is exactly where you want it to be.